I've been trading options for over 15 years. It is a significant part of my day to day life, and this is my honest opinion of them. I'm going to walk through three things. I want to walk through some level setting for the first two. And then the third thing, I want to talk about some really common issues I see, and most importantly, how to overcome them. So let's get over and get right to this. The very first thing is it is entirely possible to make some serious money trading options. Like most people, I started with like a $3,000 or $3,500 account. I was fortunate enough to start when I was really young. I was still in junior high school at the time, but that is not a lot of money to start with. Over the lifespan, the full lifespan of me trading options, which like I said is about 15 years now, I've made over $1 million trading options. So it has been an incredibly important aspect to my wealth development approach. Now, that part aside, that's looking back over the entire breadth of my time frame trading options. What I didn't know, at least for the first 5 years, was this right here. It is so much more difficult than we understand. It is so much more difficult than we understand. And I don't say that to dissuade anybody, but if you're going to try and accomplish something very difficult, you have to understand the scope and the landscape that we're operating within. It is not easy to trade anything and be successful in the markets. It is even more difficult when you trade things like options because you start factoring time. Not only do you have to be good at trading, good at picking things, good at managing, good at emotional regulation, but now you're also adding a time frame to it. With buy and hold dollar cost averaging, that performs really well for most people because it's super easy to deploy and you're just benefiting the inverse where you have plenty of time, unlimited time, realistically for most products that don't go bankrupt. But in options, that's not the case. The furthest out in time you can go is a leap, which is going to be less than 2 years. So it is very, very difficult to trade options successfully. And understanding that is probably one of the most pivotal, wow, nailed that one, Eric. One of the most pivotal aspects of understanding how to overcome the challenge that's in front of us. Trading is extremely lucrative, but it's misleading. The barrier to entry for trading is so low. Anybody can open up a brokerage account, anybody. But in order to be a successful trader, this is exactly where my brand comes from. You literally have to be a statistical outlier. That means a very small subset of the overall population of people who attempt to trade. You have to fall within +2 standard deviations in order to be successful in this long term. So the reason why it's such a tricky little thing is because it's so easy to start, but it is really difficult in order to succeed in this long term. It's not like college sports or professional sports. The odds aren't exactly the same, but it's a fair analogy. If you want to play in the NBA, there's a really good chance that as a kid, your parents are already grooming you in order to get there. They're putting you in club sports. They're getting you coaches. You're going to play in elementary school, junior high school, college. There's all of this buildup before you hit the professional level. Most people start trading and then within a year, they think that they're going to be able to operate at a professional level. And the unfortunate reality is it is not going to happen. It's just not going to happen. There are a very select few people that can figure it out that fast, and that's freaking awesome. But I am a genetic throwback. Things come way more difficult to me. So I fall into the very average population of human beings. So what that means is I need to work. I need to work hard. It is one of the most important aspects of all this. So let's talk about some of these things that I'm alluding to. Most are not a good fit for trading. Even a smaller subset are a good fit for trading options or derivatives. And here are the like highest level common downfalls I see. The first one is misunderstanding the objective and the game. Most people think that we start trading to get rich. That's more or less the objective, which is fine, but we don't understand how that interfaces with the game. The game being you as a retail trader interacting in a space literally filled with billions of dollars and resources, all looking to make money. So if you think that you're going to walk in at whatever age you are and within 2 years be competing with these guys, it's possible. But you have to understand how you fit in as a retail trader. The main thing we have in our favor as retail traders is agility. We don't have all of the same rules and regulations and restrictions on how we interface with the markets. That is where we get to make money, because otherwise all of the information, all of the leverage, all of that belongs to the institutions. We can't even come near it. So we have to understand how we fit in as retail traders if we stand to even partially succeed in this. The other thing is impatience coupled with skill gap. This is another really dastardly one. Impatience because most of us are just impatient. I was as well. This is when I made my largest losing trade as a percentage of my portfolio was due to that exact thing. And that is one of the most difficult things to overcome is impatience, because we see all the money. It's right there. It's right in front of us. It's so easy to start, but we don't understand what needs to go into it in order to be successful. And that is because of this skill gap. Skill gap is a thought process fault where you see somebody doing something that looks easy and you falsely assume that it's also easy, that you could just do it. I use surfing as an analogy, but again, take any professional sports, take jujitsu as a great example. You can see people that look like they're doing something that's so simple. It's like, well, obviously that's just do that. But there's so much that's actually going on behind the curtains in order to get them to that point to be able to deploy at that level, that it's misleading. It's extremely misleading. So that coupled with all of the bullshit you see on social media of, all these kids that are renting a Lamborghini or a yacht to show how successful and balling out they are, which again, I hope some of them truly are. I would disparage nobody from being successful. But what frustrates me there is that just increases this skill gap. They make it seem like it's so simple. They put on this big brand representation to draw people into whatever it is they're selling, and it leads people down the wrong path. And this leads us to the final one, which is work ethic. This is so understated, it's not funny. And it's not just working hard. If you work hard at something, that doesn't mean that you're entitled to success. That's a hard pill for a lot of people to swallow. You could grind and still not hit the fucking mark. Happens all the time. You have to grind, but adroitly, meaning you have to be smart about how hard you're grinding and what you're doing. You can't just work hard in all directions and expect to be successful in this, because it's not. Now, I want to wrap this video up by highlighting the commonality between all of these. Notice how at no point during any of this did I say deploying the wrong strategy. Did I say sizing trades too big? Those are all technical aspects of a much broader psychological game. And that's a hard pill for people to swallow. There's no perfect strategy. There's a reason why there's not automated algorithms that are out trading everybody out there, because as soon as it exists, guess what? I'm doing it. I'm not going to do this anymore. I love to trade, but it's a business decision. And if there's an algorithm that can do that, free up all of my time to go do something else, I would take it in a heartbeat. But it doesn't exist yet, because we, the traders, have the last say. We control the outcome of our effort. So it's important to understand that this is a psychological game. Again, it's just like jujitsu. It's just like NBA. There's going to be physical assets, physical traits that are super important. It's the same thing here. There are absolutely going to be just physical traits, how smart you are, how well you can see data. All of that stuff will be important, but most of it can be learned. The main thing that I think people struggle with here is buckling down and putting in the work. So that is my honest opinion on trading options after doing it for 15 years. It's entirely doable, it's accessible to people, but it's super misleading and most people don't put in the requisite amount of effort. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe to the channel, share it with some friends, throw a comment down below if there's anything that I missed. It helps with engagement, it helps me grow my platform, which I really appreciate. And if you guys have any questions or anything else that you want to see me go over, as always, throw it in the comments. I'm happy to do videos on what you all want. And until next time, be an outlier. See y'all later.